I'm just going to ask the question I think that a lot of our viewers and our listeners really want asked, which is, are we kind of already at war with Russia?
Well, I don't think we are actually at war because there's not been obviously a declaration of war. I think that the UK is supporting militarily and economically Ukraine. It's not fighting a war against Russia by itself. If it was, then NATO troops would be in Ukraine. But because Ukraine is not a member of NATO, it's not actually fighting Russian troops. But this is a different thing. As we know, countries are allowed to support one another in terms of self-defense from an aggressor.
Yes, indeed. The argument against giving Zelensky any more stuff, really, military equipment or support, is that it will anger Putin. And that could lead to a massive escalation from a chap who is potentially already relatively unhinged. Of course, you are a lecturer in Russian and post-Soviet politics. Do you think there's any risk of that?
Well, I certainly think that there is a possibility, as we've seen some reports coming out, that the Russian elite believe that Putin is crazy. But I don't think that there is any escalation in terms of nuclear escalation, which is something that I think you were alluding to. We would see certainly that we need to give support to Ukraine, as much support to Ukraine as possible, in order to protect Ukraine from Russian aggression. And this, I don't think, is going to lead to a significant escalation on the part of the Russians, because I don't believe that they necessarily have the capacity to further escalate to a great extent.
OK, just very finally on this one now, the big question is about fighter jets, it appears to be today. Would you advise us to send fighter jets, or for NATO to send fighter jets over there?
I think at the moment there is very little. I think that certainly there is a need to send fighter jets. Ukraine has the pilots. It needs to be able to win the skies, control the skies. Fighter jets are necessary. If the Typhoons or the Eurofighters are lying idle, as it were, then they should be sent to Ukraine in order to support Ukraine in its need to defend itself from Russian aggression.